as I see things, your thoughts and your actions directly, I mean, you know, that's the taproot of your perspective, is your thought, and you are in control of that. You are in control of how you let yourself react, you know, and you can...
Or choose to respond.
Yeah, and if you let yourself react even mentally, because you can have this fight, even just that quick, with the circumstances that are going on around you, whether it's peaceful, whether it's violent, whether it's agreeable or disagreeable. If you sit back and let yourself hold it here and try to get that 360 perspective of it, you're going to get it. You're going to get it a lot more, you know, than if you just react to one side of the situation, and that works, you know, emotionally and.
Critical thinking, the lack thereof, is just laziness. No one is really. There's no one really has to, you know. I mean, obviously, if the job requirement requires it, but it just seems like, I mean, customer service to like these political debates going on in America.
Yeah.
It's like sophistry, like.
Do you believe that actually that's part of the strategy? So, without being political about this, do you think that actually that's actually a feature, not a flaw? That a lot of the people who are, let's say, for example, running for candidacy are actually, or running as candidates, are using noise as a propaganda tool?
Oh yeah. I mean, I honestly think Donald Trump it's like an experiment, like a thought experiment. Like how far can we push? It's like, I don't think it's just, this is just a device in his brain. There's like powers that be or something that are that are doing a thought experiment. I mean,
And so, you know, creating your own reality. I think everyone does that. You know, there's no getting around that. Everyone is going to do that, and trying to have an objective view on things. You know, that's what you try to do. But you're gonna be subjective. Like that's just, you're gonna be subjective until you aren't. And whatever the circumstances are, like you're always gonna do that. And you gotta be patient with yourself. You gotta be patient with yourself.
Be patient with yourself. And so when you're writing stuff, do you actually, because when I'm putting together keynotes, I'm thinking about the reaction.
sure.
And part, like 50%, I'm thinking, how's this going to play out in people's brains? Because I take people on a thought holiday.
Well, if you plan to perform or speak,
Yeah.
and you're not planning for that, that's just foolish, isn't it?
Right.
We should be thinking like this is a presentation.
Yeah, and that's what I've never asked you about this in real life, so I'm just thinking, is that something that, like with the new album, from the first 5 listens to the album, without exaggeration, 20 or 30 times now, the first 5 listens, the first listen I felt absolutely drawn in by the fact that there's a huge guitar. I'm a guitarist, so massive guitarist is a guitar album.
It's a guitar. It's for you, man.
Right, thank you. You heard it here. And hollow bones. I'm actually, I've got it tattooed. This tattoo here is a tribal tattoo of hollow bones. Anyway, but then the second time and the third time I listened to it, I started thinking that there was this depth of, there's a story arc that goes through it that I found quite jarring actually. And then by 4th or 5th or 6th time, I feel differently throughout the minutes of the album. So at the beginning, I feel fairly and at the end, with Hollow Bones Part 2 and All I Want, I feel like it's some kind of release that you've given everything that you needed to give. But at the start, it's a very kind of aggressive, almost aggressive.
A lot of our records kind of do this, and I guess it's just kind of the way we like the story to be told. And even though all the stories are different, if you look at every record like a book or a chapter, however you want to do it, I think that's the feeling, you know. Especially with the band like Rival Sons, if it starts kind of like the release, you're going, okay, and if we slowly put you in the headlock and leave you choked out, you're going, oh my God, I'm asphyxiated. Why did they do that to me? This was not a good idea. So it's just like any story, you want it to like have a first, second, and third scene, and that needs to resolve and kind of do something musically.
I've been thinking about the new album. In the last album, there's a boy and a bum. On this album, there's a boy and a gun. On the past albums, there's a juxtaposition with innocence, either lost, innocence abused, innocence. Is this a theme of life, or is it an accidental stumbling?
I hadn't calculated anything of this sort. I think that it's, we live in a boy with a bomb and a boy with a gun culture.
Who's the boy?
Yeah, everyone's the boy.
Everyone's the boy. Who's the bomb?
Well, the bomb is the threat. You know, the bomb is the uncontrollable threat.
So everyone is the boy, and the threat.
The bomb in it is an impending
doom.
Well, no, it's a darkness.
I was just wondering whether or not the juxtaposition was intentional, because there's, you have good times on Great Western Valkyrie,
Yeah.
and then you have the boy here in this one.
Yeah.
In Hollow Bones. So I'm thinking, there's a.
I don't think that in terms of like a long range view of things, I don't see myself as sophisticated enough to like carry. I don't consciously carry a theme that way.
Do you not?
Because
I really carry themes.
Well, that's your job, man.
No, but that's your job, Jay.
No, I don't.
We're in the same job.
It's like we go in to make a record. My job is to write songs, and things are moving so fast. Like I don't think of, if there's a recycled theme that ends up going on. You're talking about the innocence, and the loss of innocence. I mean, you go back to Blake. It's like these are cornerstones. These are cornerstones of literature and of all things written. When it comes to these are classic themes that end up working inside.
Yeah, I'm just wondering. But Jay, I'm wondering whether or not, from listening to every single song that you've written for Rival Sons, and then all the stuff that I found on YouTube, with you playing xylophone and acoustic guitar on the streets of Santa Monica or wherever, and stuff in theatres with cellists and stuff like that. I'm kind of wondering whether or not what you're writing about lyrically is the same thing. As in, we're talking about the same meta struggle of life.
Well, yeah, I would imagine that isn't too far from the truth, because I'm only capable in the end of my own narrative, and when you can project these things onto characters, within a story or whatever, but in the end you're left to construct these things using your own facilities, and things like innocence and loss of innocence.
Yeah.
These are central themes, These are central themes that don't change. They don't change with centuries. There's a huge back catalog of experience, and you can't put all of those things all of those things can't consciously be part of the lens that you see your perspective through. Yeah. And so...
The solution is what we're doing actually helping.
I think absolutely.
How is it helping? In what we're doing. I'm talking about Showman.
I guess I can equate it to thinking about, like, for me, this is a job, right? It is a job. It's a great job. People say, how can you call it a job? It is a job.
But you get paid for it.
It's a job, yeah, it's what I do. But there's so many bad jobs in the world.
Yeah, I think we've probably both done some of them.
There's a lot of bad jobs, you know what I mean? This job is an extraordinary job in the way that, for me, I want to play guitar, and it feels great. I love playing with the guys that I play with. I love making music. I love writing it. It's a real visceral feeling on stage. It's like putting something good out into the universe.
Yeah.
But
just
I think
positive out.
More than that, why I really love the job is because over the last 10 years of doing it, I guess I've come to the idea that what this job really is a moment in a live sense to bring a large group of people together that don't know each other, that aren't connected, and it's a form of like escapism for them. They forget about their crappy jobs.
Yeah, for a few moments in their life.
Or their bitchy wives or husbands.
Yeah, the stuff isn't shit in their lives.
For one moment, we forget when we're attending a concert, you know. And for us, we forget. It takes so much focus when you're playing.
Yeah.
You kind of lose yourself in the show, and you notice that the audience loses themselves.
Yeah.
And maybe if it's not for the full time we're on stage, there might be pockets or moments where people truly are like connected. You can feel people singing together,
Yeah.
and you know they're locking arms and hugging each other, and it's so becomes so communal.
I saw that once at Maidstone Rowdy Man Fair. You did, or was it Maidstone or was it in Milan with Slash? I can't remember. He did Secret, and there was a moment in Secret where everyone on stage and off stage, side of stage, the crew, and in the audience, and in the merchandising stalls,
Yeah.
and in the hot dog man,
They're all connected.
everyone's like,
And focused.
yeah, it's like that.
So everyone's focused and everyone's connected, and in that focus and connection, they're actually purifying themselves because they're forgetting about so many mundane worries that we have day in and day out. And through such a mundane activity as rock and roll and people pumping their fists and singing some lyrics that might not mean that much to them or might mean everything to them in their own way, we become connected. And I've compared it to a feeling of like Paramatma.
Yeah.
You know, in Vaishnava culture, where it's, you stop seeing people as
That's right.
individual people.
That's right. It's a collective energy.
You see the spirit soul,
Yeah.
and you know, you see the souls there,
Yeah.
all kind of being
Unified.
very unified. Yeah, and it feels really pure. And I've realized from our moments that we've had like that, that this is why I like this job.
Yeah, right.
This is what it means to me. Like this moment, it's not money or fame or cool or
It's
any
that moment.
That moment is something you can't get in a lot of jobs. You can't even get it that much in life.
No.
So if I've gotten it through my own spiritual life, through chanting or kirtan, it is something similar to that in my mundane job that I need to make a living, to take care of my family. And something that I actually have some desire for, that I've worked on my whole life. But it's turned into a new thing.
Yeah.
That's what it is now for me.
But it's interesting because, you know, we'll discuss it a lot of times after the show. It's like when you're a kid and you're playing like a game or something, you're playing like football or something. Yeah. And then the next day you talk about, or even immediately afterwards, how great it was.
Yeah.
And then this happened, and then that happened. And we kind of have this, like, a lot of times that happens after a show, we'll recount the whole thing.
Yeah.
But it'll be interesting because there's 4 or 5 different guys on stage, and they all have a different take on it, on how they thought the crowd was. Miley and I might think that was the best crowd we've had forever, and Scott might go, it was kind of whatever tonight.
Yeah.
So it's different.
Are there moments that you perform when all of a sudden everything clicks into place and you go, I'm in the right place at the right time?
Yeah, of course. And I think you're always seeking that.
Yes.
Which is usually when it doesn't come.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, that's the truth.
Yeah, it usually just kind of hits you.
Yeah.
You know,
by surprise.
Blindside. Yeah.
It's like, oh wow, we're here right now. Here we are.
Yeah. Exactly.
As far as the music business, I think I would like to think that we're part of the solution.
In what way would we be part of the solution?
I think people want, like in food, like in housing, to solar panel. I mean, people are wanting like raw, organic, pure,
realness,
natural realness. You know, for a while, it was cool to eat ding dongs, and hot pockets, and you know, processed food. It was quick. Microwave ovens.
At the same time as synthetic pop music produced by Stockakin and Waterman, other producers also available, and that kind of that feeling of artificiality was something that was indicative of the generation.
Yeah, and I think we removed the balls and the heart and soul and the lungs out of music, and so people, I think, are gravitating towards music that's real. Like, love us or hate us, we're doing something raw, real, and organic. So
that's true.
And so, like with Hollow Bones, I took an inspired James Brown, funky drummer, 101, the song, and then I just kind of made it my own and did little variations on it that fit the actual song.
Which is weird, because when you listen to the song, I remember seeing, there was a video you posted either on Facebook or on YouTube or somewhere, that you played just the drum part of Hollow Bones. But you didn't say it's from Hollow Bones, you said, recording in Nashville, here's one of the drum fills there.
That's actually
And I was like,
voices.
So, right, okay, because I was like, what the hell is that? What's that song? And then you superimpose that drum beat with the actual thundering voice, and it's like that shouldn't work.
The fifth element of all our albums is Dave Cobb, and Dave Cobb, the song was actually built. I was just playing that groove, and we were trying to come up with a song, and then Cobb said that beat is, that's what we're gonna.
Okay, that's how it went down.
And then kind of went around that, and then we built the song from.
So the rhythm
from that
and
beat.
the riff,
and then the thundering voices. We wanted to do something
it's like tribal,
yeah. And so, for me, my influences do go back to Bach, and being a drummer who studied percussion and mallets and learning Bach pieces with 4 mallets on the marimba and
I didn't know that.
Going to I even got a from the lady. So,
which means
hey, all you drummers out there, when you learn marimba and you think this is the dorkiest thing in the world, the chicks dig it. I'm telling you.
Well, one chick.
One.
She's musically
trained. That's it. There's 100% of the chicks in this room.
Yeah. Yes, I was a band geek, and so
initially the band is so visceral and truly off the cuff that we work. We write, and I might have songs that I think feel like an ending or feel like a beginning, and Jay might have songs that he feels the same way about, and we do those songs and we work, but midway through we might come up with something that is a more appropriate beginning and a more appropriate end. So like this, you can see it start to take shape. So if I'm saying I have something I think is a beginning, and I have something I think feels like an ending for me, for my ideas, and Jay has that same thing.
Okay.
Well, then we're just working anyway, constantly, and amidst all that, something is going to come up like All That I Want. That is. But
it's interesting because I would have suspected that Hollow Bones Part 2 would have been, and obviously some of the people who are watching this, the album hasn't come out yet. So, but anyway, you'll know some of the titles now from this. But I thought that Hollow Bones Part 2 would be the natural end.
It was the natural end.
Until I heard All That I Want.
Until we did
and then it was like, oh, that's the end.
And it was in order like that Jay brought this song in at the end of the session, and it was like, even if we wanted to put that song somewhere, this is the resolve to the record. And then Hollow Bones 1 was actually down till like mid-section as well. So.
Oh, really?
So yeah, it just became natural that's when we coined it, when it happened, when I had the riff and we put it down even before lyrics were on it, we kind of all went, that sounds like a Rival Sons opening.
So where do you reckon, final question, where do you reckon in the album will be moments when you do live, there'll be the unifying moments? I mean, you must show a kind of Secret, for instance, as an example from the past. That obviously becomes this, and Keep On Swinging, if there's something that weird that happens with that. When the guitar solo happens in Electric Man, the place goes absolutely batshit crazy, always. So what moments inside Hollow Bones, the album, do you reckon? Because I've got some suspicions, and I'll leave them, so I'll keep them myself. For instance, Pretty Face, Thundering Voices. But anyway, so which moments do you think might be unifying?
I think at this point, I'm trying to keep it as innocent as possible for myself and not premeditate too much. There's inclinations already, and the idea really for us, whenever we finish a record and we feel good about it, which is really every record, we felt good about all these records, but when we start the tour, what we'll do is usually play most of the record, if not the whole thing.
Yeah, that was great with Great Western, because I remember the first gig you did for that in Europe anyway. You played, I think, the first 5 tracks of the new album to an audience people had never heard.
Maybe more.
Was it 5 or 6 tracks?
Yeah, it was like.
So you went through Good Times, you went through Great Western, you went through Bell Star. So yeah, you're deep into.
I mean, we'd play up on the front of the headline set would be most of the new.
Yeah, that was cool.
When you cut these kind of things live in the studio, where you have feelings like people are going to enjoy this, because we're enjoying it. It's really like that innocent, like you're not going, let's make a festival like chant. I just feel
that's the Meridian trick.
It just really can.
Katie!
I just think it's really
Because it rhymes with Wembley.
Yeah, but to some degree, when it's going down and you can hear it, like, oh, this might work, and we're living on the road. So frankly, while we're in the studio, it's hard to separate what's going to happen live from what's happening in the studio. So there is some kind of premeditation there, but it's innocent enough. But I think there's several moments on this record. I think Hollow Bones 2 might have some big moments. I think
Thundering Voices.
I think Thundering Voices is going to have a big play.
I think it might be a big moment.
I think people will like Hollow Bones Part 1 live.
I think they will. When are you going to start playing that live?
Second it drops. So that record comes out June 10th. So if we have a show June 11th,
then it will drop then.
You will probably see most of the record on the headline set.
And you will not want to miss it. If you're watching this before June 10th, then pre-order. People can pre-order, pre-book tickets, and catch us next time on Force Expansion Network with the wonderful Riffmeister, who's responsible for many of my guitar pedal purchases. Many, too many, Scott Holiday. Thank you.
Thanks very much.
Cheers.
Love you, brother.
With that song, more than anything, that song is a love letter to creation. In general, you know, it's a Hollow Bones part. You have Hollow Bones Part 1, and that is dealing and recognizing the anguish, physical and emotional, of being charged with having your life and loving, losing, hurting other people, and being hurt, and all of these things. And then Hollow Bones Part, that was Hollow Bones Part 1, and then Hollow Bones Part 2 is much more of the thankful side of creation and of being charged with this responsibility. And it really is an open love letter to that force. You know, and that force has a lot of different names. And that's that's what the recognizing. And I mean, you know, I named like three different ideals of these deities. And I mean, you know, it's worldwide. And it's a universal thing. But I mean, you know,
it was also
it's like there's so much more out there in the world that I didn't.
Yeah, you can't. But you were making an analogy that it's an open.
Yeah.
These open things. I thought it was one of the most powerful statements you've made out of 5 albums. It brought me to tears. And that's before the last track.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I think that song was meant to close the album out thematically, and then ending with that ballad, because that ballad is different, I think, than any of the songs that we have, and any song that I've written before, because it's that song is, you would think that it's a love song, right? You know.
Yeah.
But it isn't. It's a song of adoration.
But I found, in closing, I'd like to say that ending the album with that is without a shadow of doubt the most emotional way I've ever closing the album. I certainly haven't heard you hand in writing.
I would agree. I would agree with that, because the album I think that the record would have been just fine without it. You know, I think it would have been
when I listened to it, when I got sent it, I listened to Hollow Bones 1 to 2 and the tracks in between, and I naturally thought, when I saw the track Hollow Bones Part 2, I said, the album. Lived with that for 7 to 10 days, thought this is an immense, great album, and then heard All I Want.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, and then it changes the entire album for me. Everything becomes darkness and hope, and light and adoration.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
It's
that's
just
really,
like
that's
oak.
really, it's hammering two versions of a theme in two different ways, just to make sure if you didn't get it here.
Oh yeah, here's the other way of saying it.
Yeah, I'll give it to you this way.
Well, listen, anyway, we're going to close this up, and I love you.
I love you too, Jonathan. Oh, so happy to see you. Oh.
This is my brother. Go away. Go away. I'll stay, but go away.
Thank you so much.
Cheers.
Let's go get something to eat, man.
Yeah, let's do it.
Mr. Scott Hall.
This is Scott. This is Scott. You may not have seen a lot of Scott's.
Pardon me.
Did you actually? Scott, did you? Scott. That's Scott's bum. Yeah, there you go. So
Just grabbing a couple things here.
Looking for a place to sit. It's really cramped in here. This is the wonders of being backstage in Perth Arena. Jesus.
Pardon me. Oh, I left this here.
No, I can guarantee you every time I've thrown a drumstick up, it's come down.
It's come back down.
And
Okay. Never. Always. I've seen it not land in your hand.
Yeah, I've seen it more often not land in my hand.
I've also seen that. I was being really generous. Okay, so
So yeah.
okay. But watch out. That's Scott's hand. That is the fingers of doom. The fingers. We'll be hearing from Scott as well. There you go. The fingers. You see that grip? It's that fretboard grip. So I was thinking that
Say something really smart or something.
that was Elvis.
No.
Please come in, Miley. This is Miley here. Miley is now exercising. He's now sitting. I now have Miley's arse on Miley. He's getting you back. By the way, Scott.
Getting me back. This is a treat.
This is a treat.
This is a treat.
People would pay. I'm never washing these trousers again.
Trust me, that was a treat. Normally, and if you film long enough, you'll see what we have to see every night. It's this guy's sweaty ass changing out of his dirty drummer butt.
I've only seen it twice, and I'm never ever going there again. So, Jay.
Cheers, Jonathan. It's great to see you, bud.
You too, brother.
That's what part when you drink.
And so
What do we call that in the drumming world? Syncopation.
Well, syncopation is anything off a main beat.
Alright, don't patronise me.
1, 2,
Okay, hold on.
4.
Wait, catch up. I'm going to run out of fingers.
Syncopation is anything off those beats, so versus subjectivity. Me and Jay could talk about that for hours too.
Jay's just walked into the room, and I actually saw him in his underwear a second ago, but the camera didn't move round enough.
You're lucky I had underwear
Yeah,
on.
you wouldn't believe what he's doing right now, but anyway.
All of the time. You can't expect
You belong to the sea.
Part of the pollution or we part of the solution? Tell me about it, bro. What's going on here? Do you want some wine?
Are we part of? I don't think we're part of the solution. Actually, I think we're part of the problem.
Okay, so that's one of Scott's picks, one of my son's picks. Is yours?
Follow your dream, fool.
$4.50 per pick.
So I
This one's
guess
for you.
Do you remember how much these used to cost? You don't remember. You don't remember these, right?
Sorry.
Rockstar tricks. Sorry.
that's a good one.
You can't get away from it. Yeah, that was crazy. You know what I reckon, people? And this Jay's just walking in the background here. What you can hear now is Jay Buchanan walking. Here, say hello. This is my brother Jay. Yeah. My brother. When you when you lay down the drum tracks for the latest album, how did you deal with the fact that everyone thought that it's Miley on drums, and actually they don't realise it's you?
Well, I harnessed my my downbeat.
Are you listening?
It kind of went up into my upbeat, and then it came down to a fellow beat. And
So it neutralises on the fellow beat? Is that your secret?
well, no,
Is this a world exclusive?
Wait, is gravity objective?
it's relative.
Or
Oh,
subjective?
hold on. Is gravity relative?
He
It's
brought up,
relative.
He brought up
I
gravity.
brought it up. Is gravity relative?
Absolutely, it's relative though, because it doesn't matter like how. It all depends on where you're sitting. And
Are you like 10 feet from a black hole?
At any time?
It's a
Are you on the
latitude.
moon?
It's a latitude thing, man.
I can't keep up.
Because it doesn't matter where you are. The latitude is where you sit. And then if you don't have that proper stance of where you're
That's
placed,
key.
you know,
The longitude.
no, the latitude.
Latitude.
No, but
Latitude.
where you're placed is.
Oh, you're absolutely right. I'm sorry. Where?
So in relation to the latitude. Jet lag talk.
Life's the longest thing you'll ever.
Oh, that's the thing?
no,
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
No,
He was wrong.
no,
This
no.
is the longest thing we'll ever do.
No, this is the
I now
longest
wish my
thing that
life
you'll
was the
ever do.
shortest.
Know what's the shortest thing you'll ever do? This.
Hello, come in. It's Jay Buchanan here, by the way. In case you haven't seen him yet, this is Jay. He's the keyboard player, I believe. I haven't interviewed him yet, so we'll find out what his role is. Okay, so this whole thing has gone south. Look at the body language, by the way. This is the body language of someone who really doesn't care about their interviewer. So let's do the whole thing. Let's do the thing. This is the way they're doing it. So this is an unusual one.
This is the best point of the whole thing.
Scott's bum.
That's just your opinion, man.
It's not like gravity.
It's not.
Why not, John? Why was it?
The gravity of that situation was apparent.
That's objective gravity. And just because we both have really nice shoes doesn't mean that, and the same size feet, doesn't mean that actually he's got maybe half a size bigger than. Yeah, you're probably half a size. He's probably half a size.
How does that contribute to thought expansion network?
This is all about thought expansion.
Is that what we're doing?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Do you not think this is thought expansion?
No.